Hi, my name is Shane Iverson. I'm going to be giving you a brief overview of how United States Special Forces fit into foreign policy decisions made by the Department of State and the U.S. government. There's been a growing convergence of interest between diplomacy and special operations, especially since 9/11. In this convergence, there has been a major revamping of military special operations spearheaded by the U.S. Army Special Forces, commonly known as the Green Berets. Army SF has a long working history with the Department of State and pioneered the Foreign Internal Defense mission. That has become that mission has become the blueprint for how Special Operations Command is approaching a strategy to limit the spread of global terrorism, especially over the past 20 years. This mission is a core task in Special Operations, and it grew out of Special Forces' original unconventional warfare mission. And this mission was to go to countries and begin working with foreign militaries or indigenous people and form resistant movements to fight an oppressive government. And this gave rise to their motto of the Oppresso Liber, which is Latin for to free the oppressed. In peacetime, when the U.S. government wished to develop or strengthen relationships with key foreign governments, the State Department would often offer assistance in the form of foreign aid and or military advising. These technical skills brought to this mission by Special Forces soldiers went far beyond just regular military or those military hard skills that focused on military goals. They involved aid projects, and they worked with police forces and brought them modern training and modern techniques. It also focused on providing medical assistance and helping these countries develop a significant intelligence capability that would eventually assist them in dealing with any problems presented to them by terrorist networks that were growing within their borders. Long history of this. There's several countries that have benefited from this kind of prolonged cooperation between special operations and the State Department. Countries like Colombia, Thailand, Philippines, several countries within Central Africa, and even South Korea. These lessons from these decades of work, with SF being used as a tool for foreign policy, have paid many dividends for the American government over the years. This blending of hard military capabilities with what's come to be known as soft power has become a key strategy in the U.S. In the United States approach to geopolitics. A significant example of this is that due to a sustained diplomatic effort by the State Department and Army Green Berets for many years after the fall of the Soviet Union, we can take the case of Uzbekistan. After 9/11, when the U.S. determined it needed to go into Afghanistan because of the relationship built by Green Berets and the State Department, Uzbekistan welcomed U.S. forces into their country as a launching point for our move into Afghanistan to hunt down Al-Qaeda and Osama bin Laden. Since that time, the United States has placed even more importance on this kind of work, and it far exceeds in volume than does actual kinetic operations that are commonly perceived as the bulk of the work done by Special Operations Forces. As the specter of global terrorism continues to persist, it has become a key strategy used by SOCOM to provide stability to countries threatened by these asymmetric enemies. Recognizing it's more effective and economically as well as militarily to approach this enormous problem this way, Special Operations Forces, as well as the State Department, that relationship has grown closer than it ever has been before. With Department of State Foreign Service officers actually being embedded into every one of the 9 major combat commands in the military, with their primary job of assisting the shaping and planning of military contingencies. On the other side of the coin, the State Department has come to recognize the importance of what these soldiers on the ground bring to their mission as well. Steve Cashett, in his really good article written in the Foreign Service Journal, he puts it this way. What Special Forces and Special Operations soldiers do is they're fantastic at acquiring a sufficiently comprehensive picture of the operating environment on the ground, and to be able to anticipate changes that might favor extremism, as well as to enhance the stability, win the hearts and minds of local leaders and local communities, and thereby reducing the conditions in which terrorist networks can thrive. These are all really, really important things. You can't kill every terrorist. We have to help these countries establish an environment where they are comfortable and becoming self-sufficient. And Special Forces and the State Department really have come to terms with that goal. Now, as we continue into the 21st century and grow more towards a global economy, traditional warfare is becoming more and more expensive and disruptive, or disruptive to the world, and really has become an unacceptable, in most cases, an unacceptable option to solving political issues. It's created a gray area in conflict. The gray area of this conflict are the areas that Special Forces were designed to work in, and have become more relevant as years proceed. The former commanding general of Special Operations Command, General Joseph Votel, articulates the role of Special Operations Forces in this manner. While the gray zones refer to a space in the peace conflict continuum, the methods for engaging our adversaries in that environment have much in common with political warfare that was predominant during the Cold War years. Political warfare is played out in that space between diplomacy and open warfare, where traditional statecraft is inadequate or inefficient, and large-scale conventional military operations are not suitable or are deemed inappropriate for various reasons. SOF are optimized to provide a preeminent military contribution to a national political warfare capability because of their inherent proficiency in low visibility, small footprint, and politically sensitive operations. So, I hope I've shed some light on the importance of the role of Special Forces and how they play into U.S. foreign policy. We just don't always just go blow up things. We spent most of our time building relationships with other countries and enhancing their capabilities, bringing with our skills and knowledge that we've done in the past. Thank you for your time.